Good afternoon, everyone. This is Roman Shersher, your #1 online resource for buying property. Today, the topic is going to be about the offer that you make. I want to make sure that you're never making low ball offers. People think, well, you know what? This house is listed at 500,000. I'm going to make an offer of 400,000, and we're going to meet at 450. The reality is, it doesn't work that way. What you end up doing by making a lowball offer is really turning off the seller. And even if you end up finding a place to meet in the middle, you're going to start the transaction off in a really bad place. We make a lot of offers. My team and I, we make, at our peak, we were making about 150 offers a month. And one rule we always had was you never make an offer. You never even start making an offer if you're not within 10 to 15% of where your offer needed to be versus where they're listing the property at, the seller is. And this is on fixers. These are properties where you should have a very high deviation in terms of price to actual close, listing price to actual closing price, because of the variance in the rehab costs. And so on a property that's being sold by a seller that's not a fixer, you're really going to leave a bad taste in the mouth of the seller, assuming that you're the only offer out there. To even start the negotiations, it starts it in a really bad place. So our number was always never even start if your offer is going to be even near that 15% of what the list price is. The list price is a guidance. It's really nothing more than an estimate of where the listing agent and the seller want to be at when they're closing the property, when they're closing on the property, when they're selling the property. A lot of techniques in these days with some agents, the smart ones, are to list the property 3 to 5% below the actual value they think they're going to get for it, to get excitement in the market, to get a lot of people to the property, to view it, to get a lot of people eyes in the door. Get feet in the door, eyes on the property, inside the house. And once you do, then you can maybe, you'll have a couple of people that get emotionally interested in the property, and that will drive an emotional driven sale, which may bid the price up. So a smart realtor will already start at 3 to 5% below list price, or what they think the list price should be. Now, if you're coming in and you're offering 15 or more percent even below that, then it's going to be such a non-starter that most likely you're not even going to get responded to at all. And if you do get responded to, it's going to be the way that, let's assume that I had a property I was selling and I'm listing that property at a certain price. Somebody comes in and lowballs me, sends in a really low offer. My counter offer is going to be a full price offer. I may even raise it to where I want it to be if I'm listing it 3 to 5% below. So you send me an offer on my house is being listed at 500,000. You're sending me an offer of 400,000. I'm going to send you a counter offer back at 495. Not really a reasonable exchange, because I felt that you've insulted me with such a low offer, or that this is going to be such a difficult transaction starting out, because who in their right mind would start a negotiation this low? So do not start with a lowball offer. Make it reasonable. Make it close to where you want to be. You want to leave a little room on the downside so that you have room to move up, fine. But if you're planning on closing and want to purchase that $500,000 property at or around 450, at around 460, and realistically, that's already that's about what, a 4% reduction in price. You're not seeing those types of price reductions except in soft markets. And so, if you want to be at around the 460 price, then make that offer at 450. Even 450 is going to leave a little bit of a bad taste in the seller's mouth, but it will not offend the seller. It'll be a starting point with the seller. That seller may then counter you back at 480. They've already reduced what their starting counter was because you didn't insult them with their offer. Okay? Keep in mind, a lot of the sellers that aren't selling fixers where they know that a ton of work needs to be done to it, that's their baby. Their house is their baby. They want to make sure that the person that they sell it to is worthy of that home, is going to carry the same energy that they've brought into that home, and enjoys that home the same way. And if you already left a bad taste in their mouth, they may choose that they don't even want to sell that house to you outright, especially if the continued negotiations after those first few counters are difficult as well. So definitely don't try to make a lowball offer and try to meet in the middle. It doesn't work that way. You're going to offend the seller. Another factor is when you start that way, and assuming you can come to a mid-range point to actually start the transaction. Let's say the house was listed at 500. You start at 420, a price that's very low. Let's assume that you guys end up at 460 to 470, and the seller's willing to sell it to you. Your whole process of inspections, repair requests, that is all going to be very difficult. They're already anticipating that your negotiation style during that is going to be very harsh. It's going to be very also lowball, if you would. And so they're already going to start out very cautious and very dig their heels in from the start. It's not a very good negotiating standpoint. It's not a good place to start negotiating. Don't do it. Don't lowball. Get close to where you want to be. Come up a little bit. If they're not willing to be reasonable coming down, walk away from the property or come up a little bit yourselves and lock in on that home that you want. Okay? So that's my tip for the day. No lowball offers. Don't do it. Okay? As always, we end up with a quote. The quote today is by Franklin D. Roosevelt. Real estate cannot be lost or stolen, nor can it be carried away. Purchased with common sense, paid for in full, and managed with reasonable care, it's about the safest investment in the world. Franklin D. Roosevelt. I'm Roman Shersher, your #1 online resource for buying property. You have a great day.